Rhino, is that you?
There, I think I got it. Check.
Czech. Slovakia.
Czech Republic.
The checking line shutting down.
Testing 1 2.
Yeah, the checking line. Derek?
Yes, Lionel.
I'd like to apologize to you now if I could.
Oh, really?
Yes, I would. Because I noticed that earlier today, on the day that this particular podcast is being recorded, that you made a very thoughtful post on the fans page.
I did. It was one of those deep thoughts.
Yes, and I appreciate that because I understand that some of the regular members of the crew were kind of going like, what a deep thoughts, too much, take the hobby too seriously, and I want to apologize for those people on their behalf.
Oh, I don't think you need to apologize. I think that
I do. I know.
You better take it when you can get it.
I know them. I know them way better than you. So trust me.
Hey, Brad, is this being recorded? You think, or is this offline right now?
I'm pretty sure it's being recorded.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're an hour. We're a minute and 15 seconds into this baby.
Well, I'm honored for the apology. Thank you, evil overlord.
Yeah, I'm apologizing on behalf of others, not for myself. I did nothing wrong, as per usual.
That's right.
So just let's try to don't be throwing it back in my face. Remember that time you apologized? I'm apologizing for others.
I understand. In my mind, you've never apologized because you've never done anything wrong.
There you go. Now
we're all good.
So yeah, this is a really good. That's a really good post. I highly recommend that everybody go to January the 9th and look up Derek's post. It's called Derek's post. What's it? Is there a name to this post? No, but anyways, it's a hot take. He calls it a hot take.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we need. Derek's hot takes.
It should be deep thinking with Derek.
Deep thinking with Derek. Ooh, I like that.
That could be another segment.
I was messaging with our pal Otto Vondrak, the editor of Railroad Model Craftsman, a very fine magazine. And I was asking him if he could possibly consider being on the podcast again after Springfield. And he said he'd love to. But it just struck me at the moment. I said, hey, it's fun times with cousin Otto. And he actually, I thought, I don't know if he's going to appreciate that or not, but he seemed to. So that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah, that is cool. He also commented on Derek's post. Otto did.
Well, I'm sure he did. It was a very thoughtful post. I want to thank you, Derek, for taking the time out to do that.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes you just have the right thought at the right moment of the day, and you have time to start writing something. And when that thought strikes, it just sort of spills out of you, and all of a sudden you're hitting post. But
there you go.
Back to Otto, his layout is looking fantastic. Have you seen the pictures of the layout construction?
I have not.
Go to his Facebook page. It's looking really sharp. I'm excited with what's brewing up there.
So the name I came up with for his segment is Keeping Up with Cousin Otto.
Oh, that's good.
That's brilliant.
Deep thinking with Derek. Deep thoughts with Derek Magnotta.
Ooh, we have to come up with music for it too.
Only we're not going to pronounce the second T is silent. Manada.
You're making the G silent too. Do we want to do that too?
Yeah, I wasn't really asking for your opinion there, Bren.
Well, you got it anyway, big fella.
And Brad kills another young student's thoughts of being successful.
Wow. The dream sucker.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Tonight we're going to interview the show director of the Springfield Show. Today is Monday, January the 20th, which means the Springfield, the Great Amherst Railroad Society, Springfield Biggie, and near the Basketball Hall of Fame train show beside the river is merely days away, like 3 days. I think by Thursday, I think John is like in there, moves in there permanently with a cot and everything. So, Mr. Sacerdote, if you could come into the studio, we would be greatly appreciative.
I am here. Thank you very much. And you did so well on the name of the hobby show. I think it was wonderful.
It's
not even close.
No.
But it did sound good.
Yeah, I liked it. It was very descriptive of the Railroad Hobby Show. I must say that.
Yeah, the very first one of the very first videos. Not the first, but the first time I did videos for Model Railroad Hobbyist on Joe and that gang. We did. I did a walk around at the show, asking people what the name of the show was, and nobody could get it until you were the last person I interviewed, and you went, and you, of course, you knew it exactly. It's the Amherst Railroad Society Model Railroad Show. Is that it?
No.
But another valiant effort.
I got another try.
I appreciate the try. Go ahead.
It is the model railroad show that when you go into the Better Living Center and walk directly across from the main doors to the back wall, there's 3 booths there that have a great podcast show.
There you go. That's even closer. I'll tell you a quick story with that, but it is the Amherst Railway Society's Railroad Hobby Show. Mostly Railroad Hobby Show, RHS. So there was a guy from, I believe, one of the TV stations. He goes, "What's the name of the show?" He says, "I'll ask you about it." And I said, "Okay, fine." So we go on the air, and he says, "What's the name of the show, John?" And I screwed it up. and then I couldn't stop laughing, and neither could he. And so he finally said, "Okay, that's all the time we have for." It was really funny. And then he did ask me some questions, but they actually cut all of that out. Thank God.
So that's what we do here. That's what we do here. We do extensive editing on our shows.
Thankfully.
Yeah. So let me introduce everybody, because you're not familiar with everybody. So we have me, the evil overlord, and then we have Mr. Kelly, the modeler simply known as Kelly, who was wearing an orange top hat. And then we have our buddy Bruce, the moderately agitated mail boy, who's been to several Springfield train shows. Kelly, nice. Who's been to several, but in the last 10 years or 15 years.
More than 10, probably almost 14.
Roughly. I said, I was saying 50. I said 10, maybe 15, and you cut me off before I got finished.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Mom, Dad, quit fighting. You're ruining my birthday.
Anyways, he's been to many shows over the years. When was the first time you went to the show, Kelly?
Oh, geez. That was probably, I was in college.
Good for you. Good for you.
In the 70s.
All right. How many buildings was it then?
Oh, it was probably less than 4 or maybe 3.
In the 70s? I don't think it was even at the Big E in the 70s.
Yeah, it was.
No, John, when did you move to the Big E?
In the late 80s.
Yeah, there you go.
Late 80s. That had to be. Okay, so it was after college then.
The only thing we need to...
I remember just going there. It was small, and it was... I spent a lot of money.
Obviously, by now, John, you've already probably realized that Kelly's a heavy drinker.
Yes.
I'm thinking Kelly doesn't remember much about the 70s or 80s. Whenever
that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, that's what
other than he had a great time during the 70s.
I had a great time.
College was the best 7 years of his life.
Yeah.
Very true. Actually, it was 5 years, but that's true.
And when we have Brad Williamson, we call him the professor because he claims to be a high school physics teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what he claims.
Yeah.
That's his claim, yes.
Yeah, it's very fuzzy. It's all very, very fuzzy. But he's
fuzzy
only
numbers.
Yeah, he's only ever last year was his very first time to Springfield. So we have him back on because will be his second year at Springfield. So we're interested in what he's looking forward to seeing and all that. And then we have Derek over here from Birmingham, Alabama. And this will be his first year at Springfield.
Oh my!
Hey, John.
Hey,
Very, very excited.
I'm glad to have you up. I look forward to talking to people that get so I could get first impressions. So I'll be over to see you guys. So it'll be fun.
Okay, yeah, and well, we have some ugliness we have to cover about our booth too.
Yeah, like my $100 that you voted.
Oh yeah, the $100. Somebody please remind me I owe my $100.
$100.
I voted him $100 for like a year and a half or 2 years. It'll be now. No, a year and a half because it was from NERPM and 2 years.
Yeah, and I don't want the locomotive back because I switched scales. I'm now doing I'm doing ON 30.
Oh, did you actually switch?
I did.
Good
Yes.
for you.
Yeah.
How much progress have we made?
None. I'm still taking down the HO, but I'm using all the bench work and some of the scenery. But I've been collecting ON 30 for 15 years, so I've got enough cars, locomotives, a couple buildings, and I've always wanted to do a backwoods Maine logging railroad, which is where I spent my summers. So
Wow.
I'm looking forward to it. It got me all excited all over again.
You mean like working on the railroad or visiting railroad?
When I summers, my parents were from up there, my mom's side, so just vacationing up there all summer.
Nice.
Yeah, my
Very
uncle
cool.
worked for the Maine Central and worked in the shops in Waterville for umpteen thousand years. My grandfather was the sheriff of Waterville in the late 40s and early 50s. Yeah, it's cool.
So do you
That's
have
cool.
any layouts in mind that you've seen over the years in model railroader that you kind of you would call as inspiration for this sort of a backwoods kind of a thing?
Not any particular names, but there's just different, like everything I've ever done. Lionel was different scenes from different layouts. I'm not a big rail fan person. I don't mind going, but my particular thing is going to people's layouts and saying, "Hey, how'd you do that?" And I asked that about 800 times.
Right.
As I walking around the layout. That's my most favorite thing to do.
Exactly.
Just pick up good ideas from other great modelers.
Well, that's a lot of what the podcast is about, is the interaction. I mean, really, that's really what this hobby is about. Is it's 50% model railroading and 50% interaction with other people.
Yeah, and as witnessed by the incredible amounts of traditions that happen at the train show. The same group of guys renting the train car at the restaurant, and other guys doing other things at the same place. And hey, we meet up again next year, and that's that kind of stuff I actually enjoy.
Well, what is it got to be? Maybe like 5 years ago now, Kelly, that we started doing our Thursday evening dinners. And it started out with just like me and David Start and his brother and one other person. And then last year we had like 30 people. And we do that. We have unofficially taken over the Hampton Inn in what's it called?
Enfield,
Connecticut. That's our.
Yeah, thank you very much. I had to put a big sold out for that hotel. Thank you.
Well, they're all showgoers.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, I to be all really serious, there's about 5 or 6 hotels that are sold out. I've never seen anything like it before.
Really?
And our pre-sale tickets are more than double what they were last year.
Oh, really?
In the last
Wow.
2 days, 237 people purchased tickets in the last 2 days. So I don't even know what it is.
Awesome.
Yeah. So between all the hotels being sold out, all of the advanced ticket sales, the show, I don't want to say I really messed up, but I semi-messed up in that the show is overbooked. So I've got vendors who have paid and I don't have space for them yet.
Ooh.
So yeah, well, it's not that big of a deal. I will make the space, but I play the railroad. I play the airlines game. You got 100 seats. You book 110 people because 10 aren't going to show up, and that's how I've done it for years. Well, I've had 0 cancellations this year. 0.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's really, I just want once in my life before I die to have 2 sunny days, Saturday and Sunday, so we could break that 30,000 number.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool?
Wow.
Yeah, I did 27, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and last year we did 26,157, 17,300 on Saturday, And then, wouldn't you
Last-
know it,
yeah,
we had a slushy
geez.
snow in the morning on Sunday. And we usually get between 9 and 10,000. It would have done it, but we got 5,321 on Sunday. I was so pissed off. Don't edit that. I was so angry.
Yeah, you're talking about the great success of the hotels and all that in the area, which is fantastic. But is there a sense that from talking to the hotels and others, what kind of an economic input is coming in during that weekend?
Yeah, and I've got a funny story for that. But the first one I'll tell you is I just had a meeting with the Sheraton, which is our premier hotel where a lot of us stay.
John, can I just stop you there for a minute? Yeah. We kind of have a rule here where we decide whether or not the story is funny. So you tell the story, and then at the end, we'll decide if it's funny. Because we kind of had a horrible incident not recently with one of our regulars, David Hyde. We refer to him as Mr. Jingles, and he was telling us a funny story being at Train Fest in Milwaukee, and it turned out it wasn't funny at all. It was him just pounding on the window of a car trying to get somebody to move, and it was very unpleasant, and we were it was unsettling for us.
So you cut? Did you cut it?
No, we left it in, but we left it in because we felt like.
Well, you could tell me afterwards. Well, the first one's a serious story. When I was at the meeting with the hotel people, the GM came in and handed me a slip of paper, and they're sold out. And on the paper was 537, and I said, "What's that?" He says, "It's a new record. That's how many rooms you sold."
Wow.
Jeez.
So that's room nights. Anyways, the story that you decide if it's funny or not is a couple years back. There was a fire, not at the show, but at an apartment building, and Channel 22 covered it, and I happened to watch it because I was back at the hotel room right around 11:15 when the news was on. I always try to catch our commercial, and there was this fire that they were covering, and at the end they had said. And the Red Cross is trying to find, and I advertise with this television station, by the way. So they say the Red Cross is trying to find rooms for the people, but they can't because a railroad show is in town. And
wow.
I called sales the next day. I was like beside myself, and I don't generally get upset. But I did that night. So I waited until the morning. I called the salesperson and I said, "What's the matter?" I said, "I've got a big problem." And I said, "Watch the news on the fire last night and call me back." So about an hour and a half later, he calls me back. He says, "Oh my God, what can we do?" I said, "I don't know what you're going to do." I said, I might pull all my ads, but but it's showtime now. So that wouldn't have done me any good. So they gave me a discount on ads the following year. It was just so funny. But when I heard that, I went, "Are you serious?" One hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing. So, but they were very apologetic and made it up to me, and I was very satisfied. So.
But without having to use the applause sign or the laughter sign that we all laughed, I guess that was a funny story.
That was a very amusing anecdote.
Yeah. There's so many silly stories, guys. With this is my 22nd year, so I have a million stories. But I digress.
You need to come out with a book of funny show stories.
That's not a bad thought.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah. Or a
Tales from
podcast,
Amherst.
or a podcast of my own. Wow!
Ooh.
Wow!
I'm sure he could get some good advice.
That wasn't a funny story.
Steam coming off.
Do you think I could be on it?
Absolutely.
So okay. So how do you have some sort of indication about the economic impact on the area? Because there must be a fair for restaurants and all that stuff. Like, do you get a sense that the people? I mean, I don't know how you would get this sense, but do you have a sense that restaurants and those kind of places realize that this show is going on?
Oh yeah. And they count on it every year as well. I mean, it's the dead of winter, and it's one of the reasons why we get great hotel rates. The hotel rates are like 30, 40, 50% off from their regular rates in some hotels. Some it's only a little bit of a discount, but if I'm doing 500 room nights plus at one hotel with 350 rooms, you could apply that to others. I mean, we're talking easily several thousand room nights, and everybody goes out to eat everywhere, and
model railroaders do like to eat. For the most part.
I got to tell you, all I have to do is say, I need 5 volunteers for this, and we're going across the street to Memo's Diner afterwards on me, and I'll get 10 guys. Boom. Like clockwork.
So, John, we might as well get to the elephant. There's no easy way to say this, so I'm just going to come right out and ask you this question. Because we had some unpleasantness on our podcast a few weeks ago, about a month ago.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We're years ago. The Modeler's Life podcast decided to revitalize the cheese ball industry.
Oh yes,
yeah. We took it upon ourselves to revitalize the cheese ball industry, and we thought. And then we're sitting there talking because we always have those buckets of cheese balls on our table and stuff. And somehow, through many going around, we decided that what we would do is we're going to have 2 of our members standing in the aisle handing out cheese balls, and they're going to use little they call them, little prongs, and they're
they're called snacktives. Yeah,
yeah, but that doesn't really describe what they are.
Okay,
I understand what
they're like extended fingernails.
Yeah, it's like it's like your car's a
device to serve them without touching them.
There you go. Yeah, thank you.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so then we're all having a great time. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a ball. We're going to be handing out cheese balls. It'll bring more people to our table. People will be having fun. And then all of a sudden, so it's one of our members who happens to be present tonight, Kelly, says in a tone goes, "Well, I don't want to throw any water on the party, but do you think we're allowed to hand out cheese balls at the Springfield train show?" And that just kind of deflated our balloon immediately.
Oh, I'm sure.
There were a bunch of us who were thinking about not even going after that. Remember that?
Yeah, we were ready to cancel all the rooms.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, please do. I need the space.
So can you? Oh, geez.
In that case, shall we give out the email address?
I guess we are done here.
Okay, that's it for tonight, folks.
We were hoping you would save the day and say, "Of course it's all right."
Well, I can easily save the day because it is all right.
Okay, thank you.
So what you cannot do is sell food at the Railroad Hobby Show, and that's partly we are the enforcers, but it really is a rule of the Eastern States Exhibition. Yeah. You cannot sell food, and I'm very thankful for that, because when I went to a couple of other shows down in New Jersey and walked by a table that was selling at their hobby show, Railroad Hobby Show, and I saw all kinds of canned goods, and I'm thinking, this is interesting. And they were selling canned pickles and canned beets, and I'm thinking, what is this guy doing at a train show? But anyway, that's what makes our show pretty popular in my eyes. It's train stuff and nothing else. But people all over the place, they're giving away candies and mints and cheese balls.
Wasn't somebody giving away cookies last year too?
Yeah. And so there's absolutely and listen, we for Atlas's 100th anniversary birthday, we baked them a cake with their logo on it, and we ate cake there. As long as you're not selling it, you'd be surprised. And I'm very, very sad to say that one of our best vendors, whose girlfriend made the most incredible Italian food in the center of their booth. She passed away, unfortunately. He retired.
Oh.
But they made the greatest Italian food. Oh my gosh. And so it's okay to you just can't sell food. So you could give it away and at your table. And I think I'm not going to have a problem with it, but when I think very strict, my son's was in the food service industry, and and the way you handle that stuff, as long as you pick it out of the bowl with tongs, I think you're going to be fine.
Yeah,
I wouldn't let anybody put their hands in the bowl, though.
No.
But if you're handing them out,
then we're going to hand them out
with tongs. That's fine.
Think of the Playboy Bunny Club with ugly guys.
Now the podcast is over.
Oh man,
that's a stretch, but I'm trying to.
That is icky, isn't it, Kelly?
So Kelly, you've got a few days now to come up with another thing to be a downer on.
Downer on? I don't know.
Oh, wow! You guys were all set to tell me that you can't do that?
No, it was just Kelly. We were having a grand old time.
How does this relate to the terrible thing that happened regarding Trainfest? What are you talking about with that?
No, this is during our show we were excited about handing out cheese balls, and then Kelly just goes. Okay. Kelly was Mr. Walter Safety, Debbie Downer, Walter Safety. Pick one,
I mean, we had guys combing the statutes of Massachusetts looking for regulations on cheese balls. That's how much of a downer it was.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a health permit from Oregon. I'm going to cross out Oregon. Put Massachusetts.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so Brad, I'm interested from your standpoint because you've been once, and the very next time you go is the following year. So, Brad, give us an idea. I'm sure you have a question or two, but give us an idea of somebody who's only ever been once and is excited to go again and partake in all the festivities, especially from the AML podcast standpoint. What is it that you're looking forward to the most?
Oh, definitely the people that are going to be there is most, for sure. You guys and other folks. Like I got to meet the guys from NCE, which how much of a fan I am of their stuff. I had talked to their tech support guy on the phone a couple times, and it was kind of nice to meet him face to face for the first time. Also, the guys from TCS are really cool. They've done I had some brass locomotives that I wanted sound decoders in. Well, one of them that I wanted a sound decoder installed in, and Dan from TCS did that for me. I got to meet him for the first time. Met Mr. Sacerdote for the first time. Just all that, the people, like you were saying before, half the fun is the people, but also just the overwhelmingly incredible amount of vendors that are in one space. I had never seen anything like that in my life. And that's another big thing that I'm looking forward to getting around to the vendors that I definitely want to get to, but then there's always new ones to find that I'm, also looking forward to as I go around and explore.
Well, as a second timer, what would you do? Do you have something in your mind that you're going to try to do a little different in order to take in as much as the show as possible? Because I know last year you made yourself a list.
Yeah.
And do you have any plans for this year based on your experience from last year?
No, not really. I think now that I've been there once and I have, I know now to look at the map and figure out rather than wandering around aimlessly. like I did. Fortunately, I got there Thursday night and was there for Friday setup in the morning. And that's when I discovered, I got to come up with a plan or I'm going to be completely lost. So I went back to the hotel and, like Lionel said, looked at all the vendors that I wanted to get to for sure on the map and made myself a list and mapped it out. This year I have I didn't even know the layout of any of the buildings and I wasn't even sure, how to get from one building to the next. So I'd have a good idea of how that goes now. So I think I'll be able to get around it.
You discovered that there's doors you can go through instead of trying to ram your head through the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of nice. You don't get as much of a headache, but I mean, like when you leave the Better Living Center, which way do you go to get to one of the other buildings? I had no idea. Now I kind of know the layout of it. So, I will have, a list of vendors that I definitely want to get to again, but then I am going to just spend some time looking at other vendors that I may not even be aware of yet. But this year also, I'll be at the table a little bit more because we're going to have our a small T-track set up that I'll be there running too. So,
and handing out cheese balls.
That's right. I have a question for Mr. Sacerdote then that just came to my mind. Is that all right if I ask it now, or would you like it in another segment of the show?
Could you write it down on a piece of paper and fold it and hand it to me?
Sure. Yep.
No, go ahead.
This just in.
Yeah, this just in.
Do you know, John, what size are the tables? Are they 6 foot long or 8 foot long? Because that's going to determine how many modules I need to bring.
I have no idea.
Don't you? Okay. I will bring enough for 8, and then if we have,
they
if we
are
have-
8-foot tables, 30
Okay.
inches wide, and stand 30 inches off the floor.
perfect. Okay.
And we get 1,550 tables.
Oh my gosh!
And
Just
when
imagine the T-track layout you can make on all of them.
Holy moly.
do you have
There's
John?
actually a pretty good sized T-track layout in the Mallory building this year.
Oh, cool.
And Fei Chen, and there's one in the Young building too with Fei Chen.
Yep.
He does a good job with that. Fei Chen.
Fei Chin is
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who is Fei Chin? For those listeners out there who are unaware, me too.
Me.
Who is this gentleman you speak of?
He is a very highly educated gentleman, and his hobby is all about, for some reason, T-track. And he's got a lot of animation in that he's got solar cells that actually work and windmills that actually show positive electricity being produced when you put a fan in front of it. Yeah, all in N scale. So it's pretty cool.
He's one of the foremost T-track layout designers.
Yep.
In the entire country,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
probably in the entire. He's the one who's in charge, Lionel, of that national T-track layout in Chattanooga. He's the
There you
one
go.
who came up with the layout plan for that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that sounds pretty. Oh, they're going for the world record.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should try, Brad. You should try to get the Iron City N scalers involved in that.
Yeah, you're funny. You're really funny.
Oh, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
It was
Brad,
a good idea.
Do you know how much territory you have this year? Did Lionel share that with you?
How much territory?
Yeah, we have our
Yeah.
3 tables and
Three
then
tables.
four
So you have 20.
we have 4 tables if you include Uncle Dave on dog cutoff.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. He
Yeah,
wanted his own. He wanted his own
Yeah, I
table,
know.
so
We're still
which is fine. He's in the same spot, so it
Well,
really
exactly.
didn't change anything.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Lionel's
so you
kind
have-
enough to provide us with one of those tables, so we'll be
Cool,
setting
yeah.
up a T-track on that
Oh,
table.
nice. Well, yeah,
Yep.
you have 24 running feet of table space if you could convince him to take more. But
I have a pretty small car, so I'm limited as to the number of modules I can transport.
now,
He has a-
are
he
you
has a-
driving? Are you driving the whole way up?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Well,
I'm
he's
coming
not.
up from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he's
so,
coming
Oh,
from
where in PA?
near Williamsport.
Oh, okay.
even better than that. He's from Jersey Shore.
Sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
In
My wife,
in the central Pennsylvania, there's a place called Jersey Shore, and home
Interesting.
of the Jersey Shore Bulldogs. But that's another story altogether.
Yeah, my wife
Yes,
was
it is.
from Western PA, just outside of Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay, cool.
I always perk up with Pittsburgh, with
Yeah.
PA.
Well, his Iron City N scale. How many members you got now?
1,770, I believe.
This is a great story, John. This is a couple of guys that decided they started a little Facebook page, and they are, to me, exactly what the new world of this hobby is. They now have almost 1,800 members on their Facebook page. These guys get together 3 or 4 times a year. They sell out hotels. They go to Altoona Train Show, and they take over the Station Inn in Crescent, Pennsylvania. It is
Oh, yeah, I
exactly
know those guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is the way the hobby is, the way the hobby's going forward. So
I believe that's true. When you
We'll
think
be-
about how you
yeah.
can operate with cameras in locomotives from your house, and you have dispatchers on that live down in North Carolina, and your layout is in Connecticut. It's amazing what's going on these days.
The cool thing about this year too is we have a show in the Carnegie Science Center the weekend before the big show in Springfield. So that's when we get to figure out which modules that I will be.
So
taking.
you're talking this weekend then?
yeah, the one that just went past, because today
That's
is
right.
Yeah,
This past
that's
weekend.
That's
correct.
right.
This past
Right.
weekend we were in
That's right.
in the Carnegie Science Center.
Wow, that's cool.
And we got to get together and decide which modules we wanted to
Yep.
have on the table at Springfield.
And
So,
how did
yeah,
that show go, Brad?
went very well.
How many
Very well.
modules did you have?
We were not able to get more space, so it's about the same size as it was last year. So
Wow.
there are there's I think around 80 modules again.
Where'd
Probably.
you
Brad,
go?
how much space would you need if you wanted to do it all up here?
The biggest we have ever had, the most amount we've ever had was like a 25 by 25 foot space, but we've gained a lot of new guys with new modules then. So if we wanted every module or close to every module, because I'm sure not everybody could make it, I would guess we could probably do that in maybe a 30 by 30 foot space. But
Brad, can I step in here?
sure, Lionel.
I think if you're paying attention, you're on the verge of being invited to set up your T-track at next year's show.
Yeah,
So
I'm aware.
Don't overstretch. Just go with your 25 by 25. That sounds pretty reasonable.
Well, no, I like to hear. I like to hear everything. So, the Fremo guys from HO, the New England Fremo guys, they take space that's 34 feet by about 60, but then they have a leg. They have a leg 14 feet by 167.
Jeez.
What?
Yeah, and the Reading layout, which you're going to be able to operate
Oh,
on,
that is beautiful too.
the Reading layout, is it's about 20 feet by 160. It is an incredible layout, and we're
Yes,
doing
it
a lot of extra things. Friday night, we're having this is perfect for a modeler's life. We're having a big welcome session for podcasters, everybody, and manufacturers, chance to schmooze. We're going to feed everybody, and the Reading Technical Society HO layout will be open for an op session.
Okay,
Nice.
so where are we doing this? Feeding everybody?
That's in the Mallory building. Starting at we're going to feed everybody around 6, and then right after that we'll op until 8, and we're going to turn out the lights for a little bit because they have an incredible. They redid all their lighting on the layout, so it's pretty spectacular.
Well,
So we're gonna play with that. And,
so seriously, are we invited?
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Can I bring Kelly?
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's all right, Lionel. I got your back. Okay, I got your back.
All right. That was cool.
Kelly can hand out the cheese balls.
No, not on Friday night. No, we're
Friday
not doing
night.
that. That's Saturday. We're handing out cheese balls. That's gonna be
Yeah,
that's gonna be
you'd-
epic. That's gonna be epic.
You wouldn't have any for Saturday if you
True
gave them
enough,
away
yes.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. Lionel wanted to know if we get a 40-foot shipping container sent there to full of cheese balls.
Well, what I've been working on is trying to get Costco to send me a skid of them and have them delivered like on the Thursday. That's what I'm working on.
Listen, don't be. You got to be careful what you ask for because
I know.
there are other people that bring tractor trailers full of stuff, not cheese balls, but railroad items.
I've talked about this before, John. I've talked about this on the podcast, and I truly mean this. And I'm going to say it again because it's just the way I am. I think what you're doing for the hobby, I think you as a singular individual, I love Dave Owens too. He's a great guy. And the two of you have that same drive to make this hobby just a better place to be. And I want to congratulate you again on the air because I think singularly as an individual, your personality comes through. And you make everybody feel welcome. And I truly believe that what you've done with this show has really helped and grown the hobby. And I think you should be very proud of yourself for what you've done.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys.
For sure.
I don't really need the notoriety. I thank everybody for it, and I just love what I'm doing, and that's what happens when you love what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Good things happen. So
let's get to the
appreciated.
I know, and I appreciate you, John. Very well. Me appreciating you. It's kind of like getting stabbed with a sharp pencil, but
I was going to say a dull pencil.
Yeah, exactly.
Sharpened.
I gotcha.
Okay, Derek, you're up, buddy. This is your first time to the show. You're originally from
Pennsylvania.
And in the last 10 years or so, you've been living in Alabama.
That's right.
Roll Tide,
although not this year.
Okay. And so what are your hopes and aspirations and thoughts about why have you never been to the show, first off?
It's a great question. When I was in
Well, hang on now. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I just stepped on a landmine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, you did.
Just be
move.
just be honest. Are some of the questions not that good?
Well, some of them aren't.
Oh, boy.
That's
All right.
the last we heard.
All right, so moving on to Kelly. What are your thoughts about
I was going to ask Derek if he's got a way of recording this.
Yeah, really.
I was going to ask Derek if he's going to be able to find his pass.
I feel like
We don't
John's
have
gonna-
any pass for a guy named Derek.
Oh,
I don't know what you're
exactly.
talking about. Yeah.
All right,
I bought
go.
a ticket, but I feel like John's going to have some people out there to deny me entry, like
Yeah,
bouncers,
exactly.
when I show up on
Your
Saturday.
picture's going to be on every door. So don't let this guy in.
Exactly. Yeah. So it always coincided when I was in college in Pennsylvania with the first weekend back for the semester. So I never, I was going to move back into college and go to class. So I never made it up then. And then I've always wanted to go. Like, this is the kind of thing that has a huge reputation in the hobby. And then every year there's a little bit of FOMO because everybody else seems to be going there, and all the podcasts are talking about it. And if you're not going, you sort of wait to see the pictures of the show. You sort of wait to see what the announcements are. And so it kind of feels like it's the center of the world, center of the model railroading world for a couple days. And you're either there or you're wishing you were there. So finally, I'm able to go this year. And I'm kind of just looking forward to taking it in and trying to just survive the weekend. I mean, as a first timer, like where do I even start, John? Like, I walk in Saturday morning. What do I do?
Well, here's what you do. You don't do what a friend of mine did, who came from Chicago with his wife. He said, "I know what we'll do. We'll start at section 1 and we'll go to 2 and 3 and 4." And by noon, they're on section 9. He spent $3,000, and they had no idea there was 3 additional buildings bigger than some bigger than the one that they started in.
Being a second-time guy, Lionel, I have a suggestion for Derek, especially in light of his comment about our questions.
Yeah, and let's not pass over his comment about there's other podcasts too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant this podcast. Come on.
We'll play back the tape there, buddy.
In all honesty, what I would do if I were you is, since this is your first time, you're going to want to go to the Mallory building and walk around until you find the AML booth.
I think that's a great idea.
or even better, get the right building.
Yeah, or better, go to the Better Living Center where our booth is.
That went right over your head, didn't it?
Actually, as I was talking, I was thinking, I think I understand what's happening here, and I'm screwing it all up. That's it. Yeah, that's it. We're in the Mallory building there, Derek. There you go.
Derek, are you flying in?
Are you sure it's not the Stroh building?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, if you don't see us in the Mallory building, check the Stroh building.
You guys are in the Sheraton downtown, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's satellite campus, exactly.
Derek, are you flying into Bradley?
I am, yes.
You are. Okay, so when you're going down the main drag to get to 95 or 91, you take a right.
Okay. Just keep one right.
And keep going till you come to a place called Rochester.
Yeah. No. Keep going till you get to New Haven.
Keep going till you get to Chris Adams' house.
Yeah.
That's right. That's down there. Derek, here's what you do.
Okay, John, I'm ready.
Well, first of all, when you get there, there's a little route, Connecticut Route 75. It parallels the airport. Get on 75 and go north, and 11 miles later, it dumps you at Gate 1 of the BLC. It's a little known secret that it's a back way with no traffic. So Route 75.
Well,
just stay on 75
it's
north.
We're going to edit this part out, right?
It's not little known anymore.
That's right.
Bruce,
if I were going to the show, the first thing I would do is go to the website and print out the Excel, or download the Excel spreadsheet of all the exhibitors. Because then, if you know Excel a little bit, which I'm sure you do, you could sort by building, alphabetical, whatever you want to do. I would sort by building and then section number, and everybody will be in everybody in that building will be listed, then the next building, then the next building.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
all by section number. And there you go.
It's a great idea.
And John, to get that, you go to railroadhobbyshow.com.
That's right. Thank you.
So I think what I'll do is download the spreadsheet like you suggested, and then sort it by building, and then filter in the vendors I definitely want to make it to. When I get there,
highlight them and then print the thing out, and then you'll have your highlighted list of everybody you want to make sure you see.
So I'll drive in, and then do I bring like a backpack to put my purchases in, or to just run back to the car? Like logistically, what's the best way to do it?
A lot of people have backpacks. A lot of people have wagons to fill up their wagons. It's pretty amazing. It's the trouble with wagons though. Like on a Saturday, people will crash into it. What people don't understand on a Saturday, you cannot see the floor. It's wall to wall people. It's insane. But you guys are exhibitors, so you'll be there Friday, and Friday is an incredible sales day.
It's a huge advantage for first timers
for the exhibitors. Yeah. Keeping in mind that there's almost 4,000 people in the show just there to as exhibitors. So it's a giant show just for exhibitors.
And some of that depends on if Lionel still.
A lot of horse trading goes on, and guys that are in the show get to see what's new and even get their hands on because we allow sales on Friday. That's why the exhibitors love it.
Derek,
they try to get there as early as they can on Friday.
That's fascinating.
The best part.
So it's a big plus for exhibitors.
And if you do have a fair amount of stuff and you need someplace to put it, fortunately for me, I always have a parking spot near the front door because John always gives me a parking pass for the main parking right near the door because
what? What are you talking about?
Uh-oh.
Because we give him this great great podcast. Plus, the last couple of years, I donate. I'm going to donate again to the Amherst Railroad Society, just because. Yeah, you've been so nice to us. I'm donating again. So,
well, I thank you, and it's certainly worth a parking pass.
I would consider paying for that locomotive too to make sure you get your parking.
There's a couple other caveats that you must pass before you get your parking pass.
Actually, this year I have a legitimate excuse. I'm getting I'm supposed to get a new hip in a few months, and I can barely walk. So I legitimately have an excuse.
I had both my hips done, Lionel. It's the best thing you could do.
Okay, how long ago?
Easy. 2 years ago, I had my second one done. My first one is now 7 years. But the pain from the incision is nothing compared to the pain of the bone on bone. And so the incision was scratch. It was nothing. It was nothing.
The worst part is I have the pain in my knee and all down my leg, and it's like
because everything else gets out of whack because you're trying to compensate for the pain.
Yeah,
it'll all go away.
I'm very, very fortunate to have a building full of doctors helping me, so I'm very fortunate that way. And Brad's going to carry me around the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we have scooters at the show,
Oh, do you? I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I got to get a scooter.
Yeah,
we actually have a scooter.
Some AML stickers on it, and away we go.
We actually have a scooter.
His
name.
That's right.
He's the guy. Right. He's the guy that sets up our booth and everything, and his name is Scooter. Now, Derek, just before you start on that spreadsheet.
Yes, Lionel.
If I could just give you one tip, right at the very top of the spreadsheet in big bold letters, put Onondaga Cutoff and Dave Abley's, because if you don't go visit him first, he gets very, he's like,
he gets moody. He gets
moody, and he likes to feel important.
I noticed that he's on the directory this year.
Well, he originally he was part of our 4 tables, and then he berated John until finally John let him put his Onondaga Cutoff on the list of exhibitors because he just wouldn't leave John alone, which didn't irritate me at all, Dave.
Well, I think there's a missed opportunity though, because AML is right at the top, and Onondaga Cutoff is like 3/4 of the way down.
There you
I
go.
feel like he should have gone with AML presents the Onondaga Cutoff. So
There
that he's
you
back
go.
at the top of the list.
Yeah.
There you go.
How was it that you described that experience again? Something I
It was
can't
like
remember.
being being pecked to death by a duck.
That's right.
Peter Borchard stuck.
There's a visual.
That's right.
And I think the real reason why I got listed is John said, "All right, shut up and leave me alone." I'll
Yeah,
put you there."
exactly.
So, Derek, you expecting to spend a lot of money?
Yeah, I mean,
Attaboy.
I don't know what a lot of money means, but I feel like I
do you have
take my
enough
part
room in your
to-
suitcase for whatever you buy?
Well, so I usually travel pretty light, so I'll travel with my backpack with everything I need. You know, my laptop, pair of clothes, and then I'll bring a suitcase empty on the way up, just so I can bring some stuff back.
Cool.
There you
Cool.
go.
But
That's fun.
is this a cash and carry situation? Do people take card, Venmo? Like, how
Oh
should I
yeah,
prepare to pay?
talk to him about the ATM machines because this is the coolest part of the story.
This is a great story.
Yeah. First of all, nowadays they'll take money any way they can, and that
Okay.
includes Venmo, PayPal, cash. Some folks will take a check, but certainly credit card because there's Wi-Fi for free in all of the buildings for exhibitors. But there are 8 ATM machines in the buildings plural. And and I got to learn about this just because, and there are single tray and double tray cash machines, ATM machines, and each tray will hold $60,000 in various bills. So if there's 8 and 2 of them have 2 trays, that's the equivalent of 10 times 60 trays. So you're talking over $500,000. I make them fill them, Wednesday or Thursday, and they're empty Saturday.
Oh my word!
Saturday.
They have to fill them again. Yeah.
So
they
you can
fill 'em.
specifically point to over $1 million in just cash transactions.
Oh,
over the course of the show.
Serious? Years ago, I was able to find out how much everybody paid in tax.
Oh, because you can proportionally look at sales tax, right?
Because of those that are charged tax, but that was about $600,000. So if you remember cross multiplying and dividing in early math, if $600,000 is 6.25%, then 100% is what? And it works out to $10 million.
Wow!
And
So
that's a few years ago money. So
that was a long time ago. I
There you
figured
go.
that out. Yeah, that was like 10, 12 years ago.
So 1.1,
So
1.2 that.
you've got to figure there's probably $20 to $30 million in inventory at that show.
Hey, I have a question actually about inventory, and I don't want you to reveal anything that are trade secrets, but you talk to a lot of vendors and folks in the industry, and I don't think it's any secret. It's been talked about on this podcast that there's a lot of inventory sitting on shelves right now. What's kind of the vibe of folks heading into Springfield? I mean, is that why attendance from vendors is so up? Because there's sort of a glut of merchandise right now?
Well, I don't know about if there is across the country. What I can tell you is that this is the largest dollar grossing train show in the country. There's so much money that changes hands at this show. It's astounding, and I base it on those few stories. But I think people are used to this show because it's where new product release happens. Yes, they do a little bit at Train Fest. Yes, they do a little bit at the National. But this is where most people do all their new product, and this is actually the one place you could go where it's only trains. And also, I search far and wide for new exhibitors. I'll go to other train shows. I went to St. Louis Prototype and found 2 or 3 new exhibitors who are now going to be at this show. And some of these guys are phenomenal with what they do. Animation, 3D printing. But I've got some other great vendors exhibitors manufacturers who have said, oh my gosh, we had no idea what this show is like. So Pico from the UK is going to be here this year.
Oh, really?
Wow!
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool. So
Micro engineering is there with a slew of tables. Split jaw for larger scales are going to be there. And this one guy I saw at the St. Louis prototype meet. His name is the name of the company is ScaleSigns.com.
Yeah, we're going to talk to him.
He has got some of the greatest signs for really inexpensive prices. So he's got 6 tables at the show.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Where did we see? He was the one that came in when we were doing that with Ken Patterson, right?
When we were doing the electric lettuce show.
It's some of the greatest stuff I've seen. So what I tell people, and if you don't listen, it's a big I told you so. I told him, I said, whatever you think you want to bring for inventory, double it. And you could check that with Scenic Express and Jim Elster. The first year he came, I said, bring more than you think, and he did not. And Sunday, from about noon on, he sat there with nothing. And I mean, not a single item on all his tables.
John, if you think about the numbers you talked about a second ago, and just put that into the rough numbers, what the total industry is in terms of sales, you're talking about this train show being 7 or 8%, maybe even higher, of total model train sales on an annual basis.
That's interesting. That's something I never.
We just think about that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We brought Derek in. We brought Derek in to be our deep thinker.
Yeah,
he's our deep.
7 or 8% of the total industry. I mean, that's crazy.
I have another. You're right. But let me tell you about a couple of other new guys.
Hang on before you. Company. Just hang on 2 seconds, Bruce.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your name is Kelly. Yeah. You're Kelly. I was speaking to Bruce.
No, I'm Bruce.
Yeah, I know. I was.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think Rapido Trains will be there?
Your fast track to model railroading fun?
Rapido Trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
Nah, I don't think they'll be there. Well, why would they want to go there?
Well, because
tease us with all those great products that they'll have on display, and you'll be saying, "Shut up and take my money," and away you go.
It's our official sponsor, Rapido Trains.
Yes, your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's H-O, the fast track is Rapido.
Anyways, where were we?
New exhibitors.
Oh, yeah, right. New exhibitors.
So I've got another guy from the UK. I really love the fact that we're drawing from all over the world now. But this guy is I've got 4 or 5 vendors from the UK now. But this one guy is called On the Rails, and he sells socks, and they're all railroad socks. And a lot of other stuff too. But when I first saw what he had, I said, "Oh my God, these are so cool!" So I had to buy a pair.
He'll be there. You can sell anything when it's train related at this show.
Yeah.
And I love seeing the guys. There's always 3 or 4 guys that build bench work, that sell just bench work, and they're always there. Everything you possibly need.
The one guy, Lionel's right across from you.
Miani, I just shared a post that he made about, I didn't realize it, but they have their display set up there, and then they sell the entire thing at the end of the show.
Yes. It's pretty cool what he does. He's smart. He doesn't want to take it home.
Yeah. That's the guy I buy from, John. The stuff is
cool.
Great.
Yeah, I use that stuff, and it really is cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's like going to IKEA. It's the IKEA of the model railroad world.
Yeah, if you need a lot of bench work built quick, this stuff practically assembles itself.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We actually a guy was moving and retiring, and his whole layout was on Miani bench work, and it took us like an hour to take it down.
Yeah,
and then we reassembled it in our headquarters, but it was cool.
Hey, Brad.
Yes, Lionel.
On your Miani benchwork, do you ever run Rapido Trains?
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
Rapido Trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
Yes, I do, Lionel.
Okay. Okay, John, clinics. We got to cover that.
Oh, yeah. 2 days of clinics. If you go to, again, railroadhobbyshow.com, up at the top, there's a drop-down menu called clinics, and it'll tell you all about the clinics that we have Thursday and Friday. And we've got quite a crew, some great clinics. A lot of exhibitors are going to be there showing off their stuff and make and take clinics. And that's just Thursday and Friday to make the whole thing a destination event. But during the show, there's clinics in what we call the quiet room in the Young building. And there's clinics all day long, Saturday and Sunday as well. That's where we do our updates to JMRI with one of the authors of the JMRI programs. So the guy that really helped write the thing. So it's pretty cool.
So,
And a lot of great clinics. So
Yeah,
and not to mention the guys that have clinics at their booths all day long.
Yes.
yeah, Scenery Express always has clinics, don't they?
Yes.
And bar models or bar mills models. They've
Our
had-
mills.
Bar Mills, yeah. And this year, Imagine That Model Supply, I think it's called Imagine That Modeling. I forget what it is, but
ITLA, Imagine That Laser.
it's ITLA.
Yeah,
Yeah. It really used to be Imagine That Laser Art, but
Yes.
he doesn't like that anymore.
No.
Because he's expanded the business so well. So it's called ITLA Scale Models. And
Yes.
then in parentheses, we put Imagine That so people could remember what it used to call. But he's been endorsed by some very famous people.
We talked to him about one of his famous builds. He did that big hotel for Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's got some signed stuff from
Yes.
Rod Stewart. And you never know when Rod's going to show up.
Brad,
Yes.
do you think I'm sexy?
She sits alone, waiting for suggestions. He's all lovers, avoiding all the questions. He slips a drop, her heart is gently pounding. Don't you just know exactly what they're thinking? You want my body, and you think I'm sexy. Come on, sugar, let me know. If you really need me, just reach out and touch me. Come on, honey, tell me so. Tell me so, baby.
Oh no!
Man.
Where in the hell did that come from?
From Rod Stewart.
Oh yes, okay,
Rod
all right,
Stewart song.
okay, all right.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yes, Lionel, of course you are.
That one went right up to the wall of the warning track where he got home in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I was just kind of taken aback by the
You were
question.
stunned by the question?
Yes, I was.
And the clinics start on Thursday at 8:15. So each clinic appears to be 45 minutes long.
Yeah, there's a couple double length clinics that the make and take stuff, Lionel, and there's still room for more folks that want to sign up.
And who organizes all these clinics?
I've got a couple guys that do it. I've got two of my guys that do a great job, and I have some outside guys. A guy by the name of Mike Dettinger, and then I get some help from other people that want to do clinics. So,
Lionel?
so it works out great.
Yes,
Lionel?
Kelly. Yes, Kelly.
And we feed you too. So if you sign up here, if
Oh,
you
yeah,
sign
let's
up for the
fill
clinic,
let's fill all this in because people need
so
to know
you could
about
go
that.
one day or both days. But regardless, even if you go for one day, you get lunch and breakfast and lunch that day. So if you go for the whole ball of wax, you get breakfast and lunch twice for each day, and you get a 2-day pass to the show.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
so it's like all 4 days of some serious fun.
So how much does it cost to sign up for the whole clinic deal?
I think it's $110 for
Okay.
2 days and all the meals.
Right. So it's like a mini.
Wow.
It's
And
like,
we just want to break. We just want to break even on
Yeah.
the meals, and
Yeah,
we have to pay for the space and all of that good stuff. So we break even on the clinics, and we're just happy to do it.
yeah, and this all takes place at the Sheridan Hotel, which is
Yes.
just across the river.
It does, and it's only 1.3 miles away
yes.
from the
Yeah,
show.
it's on the same.
And if
side
you're
as the river,
staying
yeah.
anywhere over there, if you walk to the corner where the Sheridan and the Marriott are located, that's the one and only hotel stop for our shuttles. And this year, because of the volume of people, we put on an extra shuttle. So we now have 3 shuttles running full time a half hour before the show, half hour after. And that's because of what we're doing with Union Station. CT Rail travels between New Haven and Springfield all day, a couple of times in both directions, actually several times in both directions. So we've approached CT Rail, and they are just wonderful. So for $10, and they'll be at the show where you could pick up a ticket, or you could pick up a ticket in New Haven or Hartford. For $10, you could ride CT Rail anywhere they ride all day.
Oh, my
Wow.
word.
Wow.
So if you want to take a break from the show and go ride on a train down to Hartford and back, you're welcome to it. And you could ride the whole weekend for $20. But, you'll miss the train show probably.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Wow.
so but if you want to take a break and ride a train for $10, if you have children with you, it's $2 a day. And kids under 2, it's no cost at all. We've done other things with them before, like the thing out of Union Station, Springfield down to Hartford. Get off the southbound, wait 15 minutes, take the northbound back. We've done it for Halloween. We call it Track or Treat, and everybody is dressed up. Everybody's dressed up in costumes. It is the most hysterical thing you've ever seen, including us. We're all dressed up too. So we told them this is our second year. We just did it, and back in October. And we put the tickets on sale. 3 days later, 300 tickets gone.
Wow.
Yeah, and we saved about 40 for walk-ons. They have to put extra cars on the train. So the Connecticut Department of Transportation is another good partner in this. They just threw 2 extra cars on the train, so we have room for everybody. So we're trying to get the little kids interested in trains. And it's a great ride along the river. And then when you get to Windsor Locks, which is where the airport is, it all of a sudden takes an extreme right-hand turn and goes across the river. And there's always collective oohs and ahs because half of these people have never ridden a train before. So it's amazing to see these little kids because it's until you get to the through truss portion of the bridges, it's like you're floating on the water about 10 feet above. So it's really cool. It's like a Polar Express feeling. So it's pretty cool. So it's nice.
I've made Polar Express is very popular around the country through the months of November and December. And I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I do know the fella that is basically in charge of it, and Mike May. And I've made a suggestion to him. Now we also one of our friends, Marcus Newbacher, is a big shot down there at the North Carolina Transportation Museum. He's the biggest of the big shots. And I've suggested to him as well, if they added a polar bear to these things, like a half an hour into the ride or, you released a polar bear into the cars, you'd have some down-home excitement right there.
Oh, yeah. It'd be an unforgettable experience.
Especially if they're inflated.
Yeah, that's another story altogether. So how did you decide to add another shuttle? Like what was the tipping point for you to add another shuttle?
The fact that all the hotels sold out in late November. I know. And the number of pre-ticket sales, I'm actually reaching for. We're talking double what they were last year.
Holy mackerel.
In the last 2 days, because tomorrow, or actually on the 10th, which was about a week ago, we stopped the mailing of the tickets, so you could just put your bracelet on and walk right in. In the last 2 days, we sold 290 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, there's the number. It's almost 5,000.
Yeah. So it'd be safe to say. It'd be safe to say then the show seems to be becoming a success over time.
I hope so. I think so. I'm never, it's never enough for me. I'm never satisfied, and because I want to break 30,000 one day before I die. So I'm just in a twit when it's not. But when I saw Saturday at 17,000, I said, "Oh my God, this could be it." And then of course it snowed Sunday morning.
Well, yeah, and then there was the year before that where it just snowed. Period.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
that was the worst year you ever had, wasn't it?
8 or 9. The worst year was many years ago in the late 90s when it just snowed all day, and when you got out, there was like 13, 14 inches of snow.
Oh,
Oh wow.
And the folks at the Big E, all they were doing was pulling cars out of the snow.
Oh,
It was crazy. But yet that day, there were still 4,000 people that had come to the show.
Hmm.
The next day, it was fine. They plowed out the sun. The snow was gone. The sun was out, and we had a decent Sunday. But that was before me. I can remember I had come to the show and remember digging my car out. That was before I was affiliated.
Years ago, Model Railroader had a thing called If I Had $1 Million, and it was like a layout you'd build if you had $1 million and you had all the free time in the world. What's
It was in 101 track plans. I remember seeing that.
What's the If I Had $1 Million for the Amherst show? What's if you had one dream aside from the 30,000 people? If there was one thing you could do. Well, Anna, we also want to talk about how you donate what you do with the proceeds. But if there was one thing you could do with the show, one dream you had besides the 30,000 people, what would that be?
A slick new headquarters. We have a really nice building, 2 levels, about 3,000 square feet on each level, but it's not big enough. I love the property we're on because we have 2 acres of property. The front acre is the building and the parking lot. The back acre, we're in the middle of building a large garden railroad, a seriously gorgeous garden railroad. But there's property that's available right on the railroad tracks that if I had $1 million, I'd love to get that property. And it's slanted such that you can have parking underneath the building, and yet it's hard to picture, but the level, the street level up front, if you follow that back, is the street level with the tracks that go right by the main line between Springfield and Boston. Mm. So you could have some a deck out there, and a couple of radios blaring on speakers so you could hear the trains coming, and I'd just like to have a killer headquarters.
Right, because you're talking about the Amherst Railroad Society, which is actually in Amherst, Massachusetts, which isn't that far away from where the show is held itself.
No, our headquarters in Palmer, which is about 10 miles east of the train show. It's not all that far, but it started in Amherst with a bunch of college professors and grad students who had no idea that there were that many model railroaders. This is in the mid to late 50s now, and they just all. I tell the story 1 million times, but I could, I have this picture in my mind. They're all sitting around in the faculty staff room, and one guy says something, and all of a sudden another guy from across the room, wait a minute, you play with trains? I play with trains. And that's how it got started. So they said, well, let's bring all our stuff in here and show everybody what we do. Because don't forget, back then you had to build a lot of stuff and scratch build a lot of stuff. There wasn't all that much available. And so they started by just taking one of the classrooms and just showing off their stuff. And word got around, and they said, we want to see. And so they moved to the student union after a few years of classrooms, and then they put a jar out for donations, and then they charged admission for $2, and then it got so crowded that the student union said, nah. So they moved to the New England building in the Big E, and they hauled all the tables themselves. Those poor guys. And then that same night, it was a 1-day show on I don't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday, but anyways, after the show, they had to haul all those tables back, and those were the good old days. But they charged admission. I think it was like $2 or $3, and they were rolling in cash. I could remember the guy, my mentor, telling me, he says, I dumped all the cash on the bed, and it was amazing, and it was like $2,000. but back then it was like, holy cow. So let's cover that. It's grown into this.
What is the admission price for the show?
We've done something interesting. It's only $18, which is much lower than all the other national shows. And yet, if you buy a 2-day show, if you buy a 2-day ticket, it's only $30. So that's $15, which means we haven't raised our price. Most people go both days because you can't see it all in one day. So it's really like $15 a day.
So that people understand that this isn't just about the Amherst Railroad Society lining their pockets. Let's talk a little bit about what you guys do with the proceeds from this show.
Oh yeah, it's not that at all. I don't. We have a building to pay for now, so there's a few more expenses. But after the expenses of the show, which is considerable, after we pay for our building, we give it all away, and we give it in through a formal grant program called the Amherst Railway Society Formal Grant Program. Strangely enough, but if you apply at the appropriate time, and we all meet, one of the jobs of the directors on the board is to figure out who is deserving of a grant. We just gave away about $16,000 last year, and our total is approaching $900,000. My other milestone is I'd like to see $1 million before I fade away. So, and I think we'll get there. And really, just depending on how much money we make each year from the show after expenses. We funnel into the grant program.
And it's primarily given to railroad causes, restorations, things like that.
Only nonprofits that have something to do with railroads, as well as scholarships. We gave a couple of scholarships away this year too.
Yeah, scholarships. And how does somebody qualify for one of those scholarships?
All you need to do is apply, and all of that is on. We have two websites now. We've been talking about railroadhobbyshow.com. That's strictly for the train show. But we also have amherstrail.org, and that's where we do all the nonprofit related stuff. So you'll see about the grant program there. You could apply and all that kind of good stuff. And we've been making a point of trying to give money to nonprofits all across the United States and Canada, not just New England, which is how it started many, many years ago. We want to spread. And honestly, if we had a great program from overseas, and it was worthy, we'd give the money to them. So we'll give it to anybody that's got a worthy program. We especially like giving money away to people who are within the goal of their project, and we'll give them enough money to finish their project. One of our grants is considered called the Founders Grant, and that's a $10,000 gift. Yeah, and the others are our Heritage Foundation gifts are and they could be anywhere up to $10,000, but and as low as if someone were asking for $500 and it was a worthy cause, we would probably give them $500.
Well, I do know of a group that has for a few years now been investigating and doing a lot of research into the impact of cheese balls on society.
Well, if they're a nonprofit, then they're eligible. As long as those cheese balls are in the shape of a train.
I don't think there's any profit.
Something train related.
Hey, Derek.
Yes, Lionel.
Can you do a graph about this?
You want me to graph the profit from this podcast?
I think you should wander. See, John, Derek is our A is our deep thinker, and B is our graph maker. He makes graphs that makes no sense to anybody else, but he enjoys them, and we play along. And he could make a graph about the show.
That is so cool.
I think
what would the graph be though, Derek? I'm not sure.
I think that I would want to capture the fact that you are not only creating value for us model railroaders by setting the stage, giving us a venue for 30,000 of us, 28,000 of us to get together, and for 100,000 of us to wish we were there, but you're also then reinvesting the proceeds back into the hobby to build momentum. So you give us a lot, but then you also continue to add fuel to the fire of the railroad hobby and preservation. So it's kind of like a full circle. One side feeds the other, and it keeps the hobby going forward. And
cool. I like
really
that.
Cool.
I like that story. Thank you,
John. Seriously, I want to ask you a serious question.
Yeah.
Can you ever imagine me ever saying anything even remotely that smart?
Let me put it this way. No.
That's why we brought Derek in. We needed a deep thinker.
Yeah. Hey, there's another thing I want to tell you guys about. There is a huge, and I don't know why, but there's a huge raffle this year of all kinds of gifts that exhibitors have given us. I said, hey guys, it's that time again. How do you feel about giving something towards our raffle? And I guess it was because of the show last year, but we have so many prizes. It's going to be incredible. Everybody has given us gifts, including Rapido.
Rapido trains. Rapido
Your
trains.
fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's HO, the fast track is Rapido.
So it's going to be a lot of fun this year, and I look forward to it because we've got a lot of things going on for the opening and all kinds of stuff. Birthday parties.
Can you refresh my memory? Was last year the first year after this thing you've heard about called COVID?
No, COVID was 2021.
Okay.
So we did not have the show. They would have let us have the show as long as we every 4 hours stopped, got everybody out of the building and disinfected the building.
Oh, geez.
And no more than 500 people in the building at a time.
Wow.
And this was honestly what the health department was saying. And I said, you guys have never been to this show, have you? And they said, no, why? I said, because in most of the buildings, there's more than 500 vendors in the show. So now what do you want to do? So they all sit there. No one can come in. so it became very evident very quickly that we could not have the show. So that was 1 year. But you know what we did?
2021.
I called.
That was
yes, 2021. So 2022, 2023, 2024. So for 3 years we've had this show, and now this one. And 2023, it was like, holy cow, where did these people come from? 2024, which was last year.
Right.
So this year, I can't wait to see what it's going to be like.
I think the hobby's growing. Me personally, I think the hobby's growing like crazy.
It absolutely is growing, and we keep doing more and more for kids, and we get more and more kids as members this year of the Amherst Railway Society. We're open on Saturday mornings and a couple times during the week, but on Saturday morning, the kids are there at 9 o'clock. And we've got a couple layouts for them and tables set up for work on stuff. We're going to build another kids layout. It's crazy. And I love how it's growing. So yeah.
And what ages are you talking about?
Oh gosh, we're talking probably from 9 or 10 to 15 or 16.
Wow.
So, and they're sitting there and they're weathering cars, and then they try them out on the railroads that we have running there. One of them was a kids layout that we finished that we're going to sell. And then right after the train show, we start building another one, and all the kids plan it and build it. Anything with power tools, I don't let them, but they do all the scenery, they do track work, and everything on that is donated. Generally, a starter set is all it takes. It's usually on a 4x6 table. Someone will donate a starter set, and we have a very large collections section of the operation where we take collections and we'll either buy them or evaluate them for free, or take them in on consignment, or take them in as a full donation. But anyways, from all of that, we have gobs of buildings, and accessories, and scenery. We let the kids take what they need for the layout and go from there. So it's a heck of a lot of fun.
Wow.
The kids love it. Yeah.
Now, have you ever contacted one of the magazine editors to get something written up about that? I'm sure that'd be a interesting thing in the press.
Yeah, you know who we love and is an up and coming magazine is Cowcatcher magazine.
Yeah.
You guys know them?
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Started out in the southern, south central U.S., Texas, Oklahoma, etc. Wants to spread the word, and he is a wonderful guy, and does a lot for the hobby.
Just for your raffle, I'm pretty sure Dave Abeleys is going to donate one of his brand new books, Designing and Operating Yards.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that yet. But when now that I've said it, if he doesn't do it, he'll be pecked to death by like a duck.
Yeah, there you go. That's good, Lionel. That's great.
And I'll even
Is it
get
only one copy? I thought you were talking two copies.
No, one copy. I can only speak for one copy, and it'll be signed by the author.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow, there you go.
I think that's it, boys. I think we covered it all. Good. That was an hour and a half. That was an hour and a half of quality podcasting right there.
Absolutely.
Just doesn't get much better.
It does not get much better than that. Kelly,
Yes, sir.
are you ready?
I'm ready.
Could you please give out our email address?
I can do that. If you want to reach us by the wonders of email, you can reach us at modelerslife@gmail.com. That's modeler with one L like Springfield Train Show, not two L's like free cheese balls.
Oh, wow.
Nice. You
Out of here, home run.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
sir.
gone. That was gone off the crack of the bat. Wow, you are working so hard at this. I'm gonna double your pay.
Oh no, it puts me in a
Wow.
higher tax bracket.
Yeah.
I hate it when that happens.
Just add a couple more zeros to that.
I will.
And if you didn't catch that email address, if you go to our website, amodelerslife.com, and scroll down to the picture of the moderately agitated mailboy in a particularly agitated state, all you do is click on the picture and boom, the email address is already filled in for you. All you got to do is put in your subject and your text. And Bruce, do we not love to get emails?
We absolutely love to get emails. That's a whole purpose of our being, is to answer your emails at some point in time on viewer mail.
Pro and con.
We'll read anything.
Absolutely.
Take Derek, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Ouch.
Yeah. Derek, I apologize.
It doesn't have to be a good email.
We never said that. We just said emails.
Clearly not, Derek, because that's how both of us ended up here by sending emails.
Send an email, and all of a sudden, you might have a new part-time job.
Hey, Brad, you know what? After your emails, and you ended up being a regular on the show, apparently we could lower the bar even further.
Wow,
that one's gone deep center field.
Wow, Derek, you have placed yourself below me on this. That's quite the accomplishment.
I didn't know if that was a height joke or a quality joke, man.
And if you'd like to hear our viewer mail, you can you just go on our website and click on the Patreon link, and for a few cents a day, you'll get twice as much podcasting every week. On Monday, like today, January the 20th, these shows are free for the whole world to hear. And then on Tuesday, that's our paid channel, which is a little more down home, a little more friendly, a little more back porch, a little more honesty, just a little bit more of everything. Kind of stuff makes you feel like you want to hang out with those guys and have a couple of wobbly pops. And it's a lots of fun. And then if you go to our t-shirt level, which, John, this is something you should seriously consider doing, is joining our t-shirt level, because once you do that, you're entered into the game show that's sweeping the globe called Hey Dude, Where's My Shirt? Because what happens is in the t-shirt level, every year you get a t-shirt that's only available to Patreon members. Now, the key there is the person that's in charge of sending out the t-shirts is, let's say, useless. And so all the shirts do get sent out. The key is, when do they get sent out? But you do get your t-shirt. So it's a new game show called Hey Dude, Where's My Shirt? Let's see. I think what else? Have we covered everything, Bruce?
No, there's another thing to do with t-shirts.
Is there? What's that?
Midwest Model Railroad?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're getting there. That was going to be my next question.
Okay.
John, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Have you ever wanted a t-shirt with a hot dog on it?
Well, I could have used one when we invented the best hot dog tour in Connecticut many years ago. So yeah, I would. There was a situation where I could have used it. Yeah.
And actually, you sent me that list, and I have that list for one day when I'm going to go do that tour, because you did the hot dog tour. And John, back me up on this. Just a simple yes will do, or just play along, please. I'm begging.
Just a simple yes, or just back me up here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You should never put ketchup on a hot dog after the age of 8.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't have to even say anything that's not true. Never. I cannot stand ketchup on a hot dog.
Exactly. I rest my case. There you have it, folks, from the guy who runs the biggest train show probably in the world, and is advancing the hobby as best he can. without a doubt, he says, after the age of 8, don't put ketchup on a hot dog.
Yet at the show, I see the guys purveying the hot dogs have lots of ketchup out there for those to enjoy who are free thinkers and enjoy ketchup and not are roped in and narrow-minded.
Derek, this is an opportunity for you to answer a question.
I'm ready.
Did you hear me say, hey, Bruce, what's your opinion on this?
That could have been an email.
Yeah. All right, John, at the appropriate moment, we need you to say happy rails to you. Now,
Okay.
the key to this is there's no singing, there's no dancing, there's no interpretation of any kind. All we need is an enthusiastic happy rails to you. Do you think
Okay.
all right. Well, John, as we close the barn doors on another episode of A Modeler's Life and the sun slowly sets over the back 40, I guess there's nothing else left to do except for you to say,
Happy rails to you.
da-da, da-da,
Until we meet again.
That was a
There
good
you
show. That was a good show.
That was a great show. Thanks, John.
Oh, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Honestly, I look forward to it every year. It's a lot. It's just a lot of fun. So I enjoy it.
We are the fun bunch. We even got we're getting. Do you wear t-shirts, John?
Yeah. Hey, whatever happened to
Your $100
when you asked the question? 6 out of 10 people listen. Blah blah
Oh,
blah.
that's-
Whatever happened to that?
Well, that's I considered this to be an episode rather than just so only episodes get happy rails to you. But if you'd prefer, we can go the other way. We can you know what? Let's record another. No, we'll record another ending.
Okay.
All right. Well, John, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So remember, A Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10
Red shirt Star Trek actors.
Mr. Strang's wardrobe provided by The Dashing Camper. For all your fashion and tent repair needs, trust The Dashing Camper.
It's another Lincoln Homer.
Whoa!
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we did that one. He's been waiting all year
and you
to
know
do.
what happens
Yes.
when you wear a red shirt on
You
Star Trek?
die. Yeah,
You
you
die.
die.
You go on the plane, you never beam down.
Don't be on an away team if you're wearing a red shirt.
So use either or both if you'd like.
All right, what a great show!
We gotta include that one's got to be included.
Yeah, I think
doesn't it?
that was a home run. That was Gonzo.